Welcome to Super Movie Brothers. Let's start the show.
This is a podcast on the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.
Welcome to Super Movie Brothers, episode 128. I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Dave.
I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Jay.
We are recording this on the eve of Christmas Eve, trying to bring you a little bit of Christmas cheer for your holiday season.
And a Happy New Year leading into 2019.
So this is the last official episode. I think I said last episode was the last one, but we managed to squeak
full
in.
episode, I guess.
Yeah. This isn't really a full episode.
No.
I'm going to number it like a full episode because I want fucking
full. Why not?
I want full credit because the same amount of work goes into this.
That's true.
This episode as goes into regular episodes. But me and Jay just wanted to do a little thing to spread some Christmas cheer to you guys on the holiday. So by the time this episode comes out, it'll be Christmas Eve, and we have a movie cocktail for you guys tonight. Jay won't be joining us for that because it's my wife's movie cocktail. It's a movie that she's been requesting for since we started the podcast.
Yeah.
Since we started Movie Cocktail to do a cocktail for. I told her she could do it last year. I lied to her. I ended up doing one for Gremlins anyway because I'm a selfish son of a bitch. And then this year, I told her like 4 or 5 days ago.
She was like, it's this or divorce.
No, I just told her. I was like, you get your cocktail. You have 5 days to make a cocktail. So,
and from the sounds of it, she did a very, very good job.
She did. You tried it. What'd you think of it?
I really, really love it. I think it has all the great notes of a festive, interesting cocktail, but it's extremely drinkable.
Yeah.
And visually it pops.
Yeah.
So,
we said last night when me and you were texting back and forth when I sent you the pictures of it, we said it's
beautiful.
Pinteresty.
Oh, it is.
It's perfect for Pinterest.
Yes.
Like it looks like it's the type of cocktails in our heads we always make for movie cocktail, but never quite get there. Turns out my wife with her flair was the one that was able to nail it for us.
I guess we don't have that female touch. I don't know.
So stay tuned because coming later on in the episode, me and my wife will do a movie cocktail, give you the ingredients for the drink for Love Actually. It's my wife's favorite Christmas movie. She's been begging to do it for movie cocktail. She's finally let off her leash. She got to get creative with it.
Nice.
It was nice because she came up with all the ingredients. I helped her a little bit with the mixing of like how much of what goes in, but all the ingredients,
the amounts,
and the display, that's all her.
Yeah.
So she did a fantastic job so well. And then me and you are going to do a trailer park because 2 trailers dropped that me and you were kind of not expecting to drop. We were hoping that Spider-Man Far From Home would drop, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But we did get a trailer for Men in Black International, which you and I are looking forward to because we like the Men in Black universe, not necessarily where all the films have taken it, but
right, and the actors that are going to be playing these parts.
Exactly.
So
we're going to do that, and then we're going to do the trailer for HellBoy, the remake, the 2019 remake with Sheriff Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yes.
So, and that's really everyone's draw to that movie, which is what I find interesting, is that it's the guy who plays Sheriff Hopper on Stranger Things. And yeah, that's what we got for you guys tonight, just as like the movie cocktail things, a little Christmas bonus, trailer parks, a little bit of business as usual. But I wanted to also, Jay, give you your Christmas present on air. I want you to open it on air. I think it's going to be fun.
Well, my gift to you, I will give it to you tomorrow on Christmas Eve, and it is also,
show related.
Show related, I guess you could say. Yeah,
Jay, I want you to stroke that while you stroke yourself.
Wow, this is awesome.
I will put pictures of it up on Twitter, but Jay has gotten a 6-inch replica of Agent K from Blade Runner 2049.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, Agent K is played by Ryan Gosling, everybody. And everyone knows that Jay has...
I can have him in my hand.
Yes, while you have yourself in your hand. That's the point. Everyone was asking me when I told people I got you a gift.
So cool.
They were like, is it some sort of masturbatory aid? And I was like, sort of. Sort of. He can put Agent K in any position he wants. You now have Gosling in the palm of your hand, sir.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Now you can.
I've never ever had a movie toy figure, like action figure kind of thing like this. I mean, I know. This is your world, and I just, for some odd reason, I've never had one before.
I tried to find one for Drive. I couldn't
Really cool.
find one for Drive, and I was like,
I'm not surprised.
I was like, oh. Agent K, getting Gosling from Blade Runner 2049, one of our favorite movies from last year.
Look at that jacket; it still looks cool in this thing.
And his face, like they usually fuck up the sculpt on faces. They did a really good job on the sculpt of his face. It looks like Gosling, that little 6-inch figure there.
Yeah.
So while
fantastic,
you can have awesome. 6 inches of Gosling in your hand, while you have 6 inches of yourself in your hand.
A little bigger than that.
Depends on the angle. Depends on the angle and the flash.
It depends on how much whiskey I drank,
So I just wanted to tell everybody to have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you guys are having a Merry Christmas with yourselves. This has been the best year for Super Movie Brothers ever. We've grown a lot this year, not only in number of downloads and stuff like that, but with amount of interaction, people like getting back to us and stuff. And, everything's mostly positive, and I love that. I don't read the comments on everything because sometimes it gets negative, but I love that everybody that listens to the show is reaching out and
that's what we always wanted. We always really wanted to be as involved as possible with the fans and with the listeners, and any kind of feedback, just share. It's all good, it's all good time, and just so thankful to have you guys with us, and we enjoy what we're doing, and we're happy that you enjoy us as well.
Absolutely. And I want to give a big, thank you and shout out a big Merry Christmas to our patrons on Patreon, who are the ones that keep this going. They're the ones helping this show grow as much as it is. That's why we say that they're our producers. They are Alex Duty Dutram, Chris Brayton, Jason Short, Justin Winters, Kimberly Rosales, Neil Matz, and Thomas Iannucci. And we will have Trailer Park coming up in just a second here. And the new Trailer Park music that we got, the best Christmas present I could have ever gotten, was Tom Iannucci, the artist formerly known as Italian, sent us a song where he name drops us in there, mentions Trailer Park, and I asked him permission if we could use it as our Trailer Park music, and he said, absolutely, we can use it as the Trailer Park music.
I love it.
It is. And if you guys get a chance at all during this holiday season, he does have a Christmas song out. So please head over to Spotify and search Thomas Iannucci. That's IANNUCCI. Check him out over there. I will also post a link to his Spotify right in our description, so that way you can head out there and check out his music. He's a big fan of ours. He's a great friend of ours, and we couldn't be happier to have him, especially around the holiday season, to have such great friends like this around.
Thanks again, Thomas.
So, Jay, let's head over and let's do a Trailer Park.
I'm just out here living for God, and you just... let Poetics explain.
Poetics, bring the drums in.
Cut the beat and let the music play. No Trailer Park, shout out to Dave and Jay. I don't serve, but it's a newer wave. We've been on since trust God save the right style. I don't wanna flow until I know that the bass drop.
Welcome back to Trailer Park. I am just so jazzed about that music that we have now for Trailer. We have original music, Jay.
So awesome.
That someone made for us, and we are name dropped in it. I get so giddy every time I see it. I'm just like, it makes me blush. It makes me blush.
I still can't believe it. I when I first was sent the song, I literally probably listened to it. I don't know, a good 20 times probably in a row. Just like couldn't believe that we were dropped in it. And it's a cool song. It's a really cool song.
It's a really cool song. And Thomas Iannucci did want me to tell everybody that it is not a completed song. That is not the way that it's going to sound at the end. That's not the way his voice is going to sound at the end. He actually had a cold while actually recording his lines. So it will change. It will be updated and probably get better as it goes along. But for right now, this is what we got, and I'm fucking using it because I'm so giddy to have.
I'm excited what the final cut's going to be. I mean, and if this is a rough draft, I'm like, shit.
Before this,
awesome.
We were using like portions of AC/DC's Thunderstruck, and that was keeping us from posting on certain pod listening apps because it was getting triggered by copyright infringement. And it's like, well, I don't want that. I don't want to infringe on copyright, even though it was less than 30 seconds what I played, so technically it didn't. But I didn't like using someone else's stuff without permission. So it's nice to have something from somebody who's given us the permission to use it.
Yes.
As long as we plug him, and we will and do and love him. So
original
we will
music,
always do it.
He's a fan. We're a fan. It's a perfect marriage.
All right, Jay, we got to do 2 trailers. The first one we're going to do is HellBoy.
If there is ever an end in this forever war, it will be because of you and your strong right hand. I'm on your side!
Sorry, my bad.
We're the line in the sand. We fight against the forces of darkness. This is it.
We're expecting a sign that says secret headquarters.
Oi, I need some ID, love.
Are you serious? You made me a damn weapon. I just wanted to help you become the best you.
Some dads get their kids Legos.
Does it do anything special?
Yeah. It smashes things real good.
You are mankind's best and only hope.
I thought we were supposed to be fighting monsters, not working with them.
Who are you calling monster, pal? You look in the mirror recently?
He's an asshole.
All right, Jay, let's start breaking this trailer down a little bit. We know that we've gotten HellBoy movies in the past, 2 of them that were directed by Guillermo del Toro. And I don't think just by looking at this trailer, this can keep up visually with what Guillermo del Toro did. I find it a little strange that we don't get an Abe Sapien here, because Abe Sapien was previously in both of the HellBoy movies that were directed by Guillermo del Toro, and he looked so fantastic. And then, of course, The Shape of Water came out and really improved on that look. And I'm wondering if we're even going to have Abe Sapien in here. I wonder if they're even trying to keep up with what Guillermo del Toro did with that character.
A surprise. I mean, I'm not sure, but overall, I mean, I'm iffy. Some of it looks good, some of it looks bad. I enjoyed what I saw for the most part for the first half. The second half, it really starts ramping up into more of a self-aware campy zone. And the monsters are a little over the top, and some of the fighting sequences just looked a little too stupid.
Right. I mean, we're still getting stuff that's a staple to the HellBoy brand, the BPRD that he worked for in the original one, and we are getting something that looks akin to what we see of HellBoy. He still has the big arm.
Yeah.
It's obvious by the end of the trailer when he's walking out of that Thor-esque bath. When his horns are fully grown, and he's got the fire crown and the fiery sword that he's still that is still part of the story. It doesn't look like they're changing much from what the comic books have given us, but to me it seems like what their goal here was to take what HellBoy was before, which was well received and liked, and update it to bring it more towards today's comic
younger
book
generation,
movie sentimentality, which is punch up the humor, make it more of a well-rounded film that doesn't speak to such a niche audience. I'm not a huge HellBoy fan. I didn't read the comics very much. I don't
or
know
even play up towards the international market, because honestly, this is a trailer that I think benefits more towards the international market than so much the domestic.
I think so too. I think I think David Harbour is good casting. I don't think he's as perfect as Ron Perlman was previously.
I completely agree.
And I'm sorry, you can't have a remake that comes out 10 years after the original ones did and not expect me to compare it to what came originally. I can't not. It hasn't been far enough removed from my memory that I can't compare it to that.
And Ron could still be playing him.
He still could,
100%.
I think David Harbour looks good, but not as good as Ron Perlman did in the role.
Look, I'm not complaining about it. Like, if there's going to be a casting for HellBoy, I think he's a fine choice. I think it's a really pretty nice idea.
He's a perfect zeitgeist get, right?
Yes, and he does have that voice, and he can deliver some lines that are pretty good. I'm just hoping that the script that they give him is...
Some of this I thought was a little cheesy. He's an asshole. I wasn't crazy about that. I wasn't crazy about the part where the giant ogre smashes him with the club, and he goes flying, and it's like...
That was one of my least favorite moments of the
humor
whole trailer.
in the Guillermo del Toro version was far more subtle, and I enjoyed it because...
And even more dry.
Right, and just the visuals from Guillermo del Toro are so fantastic. This can never hope to be that, period. It can never hope to be that. But what it can do is it probably can appeal to a wider audience. But given what we've seen here, I'm not sold on this yet. You know what I mean? This is not something that I want to rush out and see. Plus, it's coming out in April, just before Avengers Endgame.
Yes. It's certainly not what I was expecting. The promotional image that they first released was completely different from what the trailer showed. I mean, it was a brooding, like almost sexy shot of him, in a dark lighting and in a glistening red body, all chiseled up and everything like that. And it kind of implied almost even more of a darker type of film than this type of tone in this trailer that we got. So I'm overall somewhat optimistic, but cautious.
A good thing that they're not telling us much about the story, like what storyline from the comics this is deriving from. The main villain is played by Mila Jovovich. She is Nimue the Blood Queen, and I find like her makeup in this very interesting because they really aged her down with the makeup that they used, and she looked a lot like Parker Posey, who we saw previously in like Blade Trinity. She looked a lot like that, and I was like, holy shit, I just realized, like, looking at IMDb, I thought it was Parker Posey. It's not. It's Mila Jovovich, which Mila Jovovich is not known for great performances.
No, but she's a face and a name that still sells.
Let's talk about a voice, someone who's a perfect voice in this movie. Ian McShane. I absolutely love Ian McShane. He is such a he's a scene chewer. Like he's so perfect at it. I love him in this role. I like changing him out. So he plays Professor Brutenholm, who is the scientist from the original one, who was played by somewhat like older type guy who rescued HellBoy and raised him. I like them going for like the younger version of him here, someone who feels more realistic as like his dad, not an extremely old man, but and I feel like he has the right amount of humor in him to keep up with HellBoy and like his quips and stuff like that.
Right.
But it all comes down to the way he talks. Ian McShane is I love the way he talks. He's such a fantastic
his look, his voice,
actor.
everything about it. It's just you just automatically gravitate to him and what he's doing at all times.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those movies that we watch with tempered expectations. We will continue to follow the trailers and the movie news that comes out on it. We're not expecting a whole lot from it, but it looks like at the very least it's going to be enjoyable. At the very worst, it winds up doing Venom type numbers, like where it's critically panned, but people seem to enjoy it, and it has huge international box office. That's probably more than likely how this is going to turn out, just given what I'm seeing from the marketing.
We'll see.
I do think it looks a little like tonally schizophrenic,
Right.
Just based on this trailer, it looks like it has a little bit of a tonal issue where it's kind of has like those dark feels, those dark looks, but then the humor mixes in with it, and sometimes
I think shorter trailers might do this movie a little bit more justice.
Right. And with movies like that, especially like Venom, if you don't have the right editor, if it's not edited right, that doesn't work. It doesn't work throwing the humor in with those dark tones because it's not, it just winds up being, tone deaf in the end.
Sure.
And you don't want it to be that. All right, Jay, we got another trailer to do. And this is the trailer I'm more excited to talk about because we just did a story where they confirmed the name of this movie, Men in Black, which they were calling a spinoff. Turns out it is somewhat of a sequel. While it is a spinoff, it does seem like there are things in this movie that are things in this trailer that
world
are pointing
continuation.
I would say, world continuation is probably a better way to put it. So we're talking about Men in Black International.
You really think a black suit is going to solve all your problems?
No, but looks damn good on you.
Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh snap!
We
Oh snap!
are a rumor. Recognizable only as deja vu and dismissed just as quickly. Time to prove yourself, Agent M. We may have a problem in London.
Welcome to MIB.
Well, then I lose it.
You will be with Agent H, one of the best ever to wear this suit.
Catching up on my daily meditation. Time for lunch, I think. You hungry?
It's 9:30.
Perfect. Tuesday's taco day.
When I come to the club, step aside. Pop the seats, don't be heavy in the line. VIP, cause you know I got a shine.
We've been compromised. It puts every citizen of this planet at risk.
Come every time you come around my London Bridge.
Side view mirror.
Oh, wow.
Oh snap!
Come every time you come around my London Bridge. Wanna go down like.
If you could all just look right here.
Just try.
Going down like, going down like, going down like, going down.
It's gonna be fun. We'll have fun with it.
There should be a big red button around here somewhere.
Found it.
We are the Men in Black.
Looks like the tables have turned.
That was an incredible catch.
All right, if we were having a music off from these two trailers, this one wins.
Yes.
That is such a perfect song to put with this trailer.
It's too perfect.
I love it.
But it actually fits the whole tone of the movie
It does.
as well.
International, London Bridge is coming
they're
down.
Set mostly in London at least, and then it was nice, and also it seems like it's going to follow Tessa Thompson's character a little bit more.
I mean,
it's going to be a little bit more of like a dynamic like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
The big thing I was wondering was which one is going to be the veteran training the younger one and stuff like that. Which one's the Tommy Lee Jones character? Which one's going to be the Will Smith character? Turns out they're not doing that. They're both the Will Smith character. And they're partners. And it almost seems like they're in equal regard. There is no older. The older character here, the K character, the Tommy Lee Jones character, is Liam Neeson.
Right, which is weird because you mostly see him in voiceover.
Right. You see him a little bit.
I have a weird inkling that he's going to turn bad.
That's what I was thinking too.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
I'm thinking the exact thing.
I feel like it's almost a little too obvious though. But whatever.
Jay,
I'm fine with that.
But this movie is 100% transparent. And that's okay.
It just looks like a lot of fun.
It looks like a ton of fun. I
gotta admit,
I think this is the right place to take the Men in Black universe. I think moving it into new characters, adding international, while still clearly playing reverence to the old guard, because they even have the line in there that they are deja vu and dismissed just as quickly, which is a tagline from the original Men in Black movie. They have pictures that they showed two paintings, one of K and J fighting the cockroach from the first Men in Black movie, and one of Agent H, who's played by Chris Hemsworth, and Liam Neeson's character fighting something else, and it's showing like the duality on both sides of the pond. They're fighting the same war.
Yeah.
And I like that.
That's pretty cool.
I like that a lot. And I think Tessa Thompson looks fantastic here, number one, but like I just love her attitude. She is the J character in attitude,
right? And it's a good fit for her because she does have that that subtle. You've seen it in different roles. You know, she has that kind of attitude. She can deliver some lines a certain kind of way.
There's that moment where Emma Thompson's talking to her and she goes, and it's like, I like that. I just like, before she answers. And it just worked. I feel like watching this trailer, I feel like I know these characters already because they're so archetypal that they can fit in this type of fun action movie.
We've seen it with these actors too.
Right.
And besides, they've also had a role together in Thor Ragnarok. So
Absolutely.
they had that chemistry, obviously. They like each other. You know, this was a worldwide shoot. I mean, when they made this movie. So they definitely spent a lot of time together doing these scenes and throughout this movie. So it looks a lot of fun. I mean, I'm gonna be there probably opening night, just because it looks like so much fun.
Me and Lauren are there opening night
fun.
too. We think this looks fantastic so far from what we've seen. Tempered expectations because it's coming from Sony a little bit, but from what I'm seeing right here, it looks fantastic. I really love the car. Like the car adding the Lexus and then having all the weapons coming out of it. It fits so well with a movie that takes place in Britain because it feels James Bondy, right?
Right.
And in that scene where Chris Hemsworth is driving across the water in the boat, that feels like a shot from James Bond. Like that feels like something you could see Daniel Craig doing with the open shirt and like just driving the boat.
And even like better parts and better moments of the Kingsman, you know, in a lot of ways too. You know,
huge Kingsman vibe from this. Like when I was watching,
it's like Kingsman done well. Or it just fits properly. Like tonally, like maybe like
let's be fair to Kingsman.
Scenes.
The first Kingsman was done and done well.
Yes.
It was great.
Yes.
So it feels like it fits.
I still have a bitter
vein.
Taste from that second.
I know the second one kind of taints it a little bit, but the first Kingsman was so well done and paid so much homage and had so much fun with the archetypes of the spy thriller and the James Bond esqueness of it. This feels like it's doing the exact type thing, but putting it in the Men in Black universe, and that really makes it fun. One of the really fun things in this trailer is Chris Hemsworth picks up a hammer and throws it at an alien who catches it, and he says that was a fantastic catch. It's got to be a throwback to Thor, right?
Course.
It's got to be a nice little nod to Thor.
Of course,
I love it. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Looks like it pays a whole lot of homage and it has a whole lot of fun with the world that it's existing in, but it's taking it in a completely different direction. But I am 100% sure that there is going to be a cameo in this. I'm almost 100% sure that there will be a cameo from either J or K in this. I'm sure that they will show up at some point.
It would make sense.
Even if it's just on a monitor talking to them from...
It doesn't have to be much, and I don't think that they would mind. I think, I mean, obviously Will Smith needs anything positive in the movie world nowadays.
We'll see how Aladdin turns out. The pictures from Aladdin that you shared with me and Lauren are not great. However, I did make a pretty good point with you that EW and all the other magazines that get these first looks, they Photoshop the fuck out of those things. They punch up the colors and they make it look really unrealistic.
Yeah, and it's mostly Entertainment Weekly that does them a disservice. But honestly, the one actual scene grab looked okay. Like that looked a lot better than the actual cover.
Right. When you actually get the proper tones and lighting that you get with the film, like we saw in the teaser trailer for Aladdin, it looks good. Like I thought it looked okay.
And again, this is not going to, I mean, he's not going to be in it all the time as Will Smith. He's supposed to be mostly CGI.
A blue genie. Yeah. He mentioned he was going to be a blue genie. This is just what he looks like when he's in his human form. But I think you will 100% probably see a cameo from him or Tommy Lee Jones. Probably more Will Smith cameo here rather than Tommy Lee Jones. But this certainly has me excited. I am probably going to be sitting in my seat day one when this comes out because so far, like tonally, what they're giving me is everything I want. This comes out a little bit later than HellBoy. This doesn't come out until June 14th, 2019. So definitely in that summer blockbuster slate. But June tends to be the month where the big hitters are already out of the way.
Yeah. No, it'll be great. I mean, it'll be, a couple weeks after Hellboy.
Yeah.
Week after I get back from Mexico. It'll be great.
And
can't wait.
I think June is the right spot for this because you already have Avengers Endgame out of the way. It's not really a property that they're trying to revive. It's a property they're trying to keep alive is what it turns out to be. And I think, it's going to probably at least spark the interest of the kiddies in keeping involved with it too, because it
will.
It's right there with that PG-13 rating, and
it just fits it ticks all the boxes. But what I think is also going to be important is, the aliens need to have a little bit of practical effects, thrown
like
in. It's got to keep up with that hybrid of both.
We saw what looks
too.
like at least portraits of henchmen that are part of the villains, and they looked they were more human than anything else.
That's good then.
And
Yeah.
they did look like there was some practical effects to them, which I think will help. I think you do. I think you're right. I think you need practical effects. I think you do need puppets, because I love going back and watching the original Men in Black. In some of the scenes, you can actually see the strings to the little cockroach puppets that are like running around Men in Black, and we see them here where they pass Tessa Thompson and give her a wry comment. So. All right, Jay, we are going to go away for a while. Well, you are, at least. I am going to go get this cocktail ready, and me and Lauren are going to do our holiday special movie cocktail. As we do every year, we make a movie cocktail holiday special. I balked on letting her do it last year, and I went, no, I was a selfish son of a bitch, and I made the Gremlins cocktail instead. This year, I gave her her due, and Lauren gets to talk about Love Actually, and since it's Lauren's day, she asked for you not to be here.
Of course.
She requested that it just be me and her, and she said no you.
Yes.
She was very clear on that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Instructions were clear. She said no you, period.
Yep.
So let's head over and let's get ready to do
our Merry Christmas, everybody. See ya.
Let's go do our movie cocktail. Merry Christmas, Jay, and I will see you at the Christmas party tomorrow night.
Can't wait.
I feel it in my fingers.
In my fingers.
I feel it in my toes.
Feel it in my toes, yeah.
Love is all around. Oh, fuck, wank, bugger, shitting, ass, head, and hole. Start again. I feel it in my fingers.
In my fingers.
I feel it in my toes.
Feel it in my toes, yeah.
Christmas is all around me.
All around
and
me.
so the feeling grows.
So the feeling grows.
It's written in the wind.
In the wind.
So where I go,
everywhere I go.
So if you really love Christmas, come on, let it snow.
Come on and let it
This is shit, isn't it?
Yep. Solid gold shit, Meister.
Welcome to our holiday edition of Movie Cocktail. We got a very special movie cocktail to discuss with you tonight. I once promised Lauren long ago, back when I was doing the Gremlins movie cocktail holiday special one that we did last year, I promised you then that you could do a movie cocktail for Love Actually.
You did, and then you came up to me, I think, a week ago and was like, make a cocktail for Love Actually.
Yep.
So excited.
So this is our holiday special movie cocktail. We haven't done a movie cocktail in a long time. We took off in September, and we will be coming back in 2019 with more movie cocktails. But Christmas came, and I felt it was just wrong to not have a movie cocktail to go with a Christmas movie. And you just love...
Not just a Christmas movie, my favorite Christmas movie.
You just love this movie so much.
I love this movie. I watched it, obviously, before we started, I made you watch it. And 2 weeks ago, I think I might have watched it.
Yeah.
Probably going to watch it again.
And you definitely watched it before that too. Because you watched it, I think like starting in like November, you watched it once
as soon as it came back to Netflix, even though we have the Blu-ray, it's just easy when it's on Netflix. It's just a button click away. I don't have to try to find it through our movie collection and put it on and press buttons. I can just boop, boop, Netflix.
So Love Actually came out in 2003. It was directed by Richard Curtis, and it stars a slew of people.
Oh my gosh, I know.
It's who's who of Britain's actors. It's Billy Nye, who is like my favorite in the movie, Colin Firth, Liam Neeson, Emma Thompson, Chris Marshall, Martin Friedman, Joanna Page, Chiwetel Ejiofor, one of the funnest names that you could say. Andrew Lincoln of Walking Dead fame, Keira Knightley, Hugh
My
Grant,
favorite, Keira Knightley,
Laura Linney, and I mean the list does go on.
Right.
There are so many people.
Did you say Alan Rickman?
I didn't. He's not.
Come on,
They're
Alan Rickman.
I'm just going in order of IMDb
oh
here.
My God.
Alan Rickman and Rodrigo Santoro of 300 fame, sort of. So it's a star-studded cast, and the whole premise of the movie is it follows nine different stories centered around Christmas, the relationships, and in the ways that they intertwine slightly. Mainly, every single one of the stories is one of love.
Right.
Various different stages of love, new love, old love, love growing old, love, being found, and all of them are in different stages of it, and they come about it differently. Some of them are super fucking awkward.
Yes.
Some of them are very triumphant, because a man does sleep with 3 women.
He does.
Triumphant.
No, 4. You remember the 4th one shows up.
That's right. The 4th, Shannon Elizabeth.
Yes, she shows up.
All right. So let's talk about the first time that you saw this movie, and what your thoughts were on it, because that's what we always do in Movie Cocktail. We always talk about the first time we saw it. When did you first see this movie?
So, and I know we were just discussing this, the first time I saw this was with you on Valentine's Day after, our first Valentine's Day together back in 2014. I think we both at that point heard of the movie.
Right.
We didn't realize what this movie was really about, and all the cast is amazing in it. And I think that's what was going on when we were watching the movie. We were like, oh my God, look at who it is.
Let's be honest here. I never wanted to see the movie because it seems like sappy bullshit to me. And I've never really liked sappy bullshit too much, unless there's a dog in it.
And before you came along, I never watched a lot of movies because I didn't have the movie.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't on TV at that moment, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, right.
It's just how it was.
You weren't one to seek a movie out.
Right,
to find
right,
it.
exactly.
So we ended up watching it probably because you mentioned it or I mentioned it or something.
You bought it for me on Blu-ray.
Did I?
Yeah.
No. I bought that for Christmas. That was a Christmas gift.
Okay.
That's why it came with the Christmas ornament that's in the cocktail picture.
Oh, I thought you bought it for me.
Yeah, I didn't buy it for
you bought me Shaun of the Dead, and
Hot Fuzz together.
Hot Fuzz combo. That's what it was.
Yeah. That's what you get for Valentine's Day. It's a great gift.
Right.
British comedies. But so we ended up watching it probably because it was Valentine's Day, and I didn't want to seem like a jerk and watch something non-romantic. So we put it on.
Right.
And I was pleasantly surprised. I really loved this movie, and I love it to this day, which is why, when we talk about Christmas movies to watch, I'm not a big Christmas movie fan. I don't.
And I made it a thing that we always watch Love Actually every Christmas, whether it's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Me and you are going to have to fit it in, and that includes this year as well.
Yeah.
I know Christmas is right around the corner, and guess what, baby? You're going to watch that movie again.
I think what surprised me most about Love Actually the first time I saw it was that it is rated R.
Right.
Like,
yes.
There is very adult subject matter.
Yes.
There's
nudity.
There's
yep.
boobs.
There's some boobs in there.
In one of the most awkward love stories that's in the movie with Martin Freeman, who we didn't mention in the list of actors.
Right.
And then there's also foul language. Billy Nye is just
oh my gosh, he's
filled with
he's filthy.
He's filled with
terrible.
Dirty old man. And I love him. He's my favorite character in the movie.
Yes, I know he's your favorite in it.
It's not the best story of the ones that are in there, but he's the best character by far. So to go along with this movie that you love so much, what we always do with Movie Cocktail, no shit, we make a cocktail.
Oh, surprise.
So you got to make a cocktail.
I did.
So what is the name of your cocktail?
So the name of the cocktail is the Whiskey Solid Gold Shit Maestro Sour.
Yes, I love that name because it pays reverence to Billy Nye's character of Billy Mack.
And this is something you really wanted to do.
Yes. Well, I said that if we made the cocktail, you didn't care about naming it, so I said it has
I'm
to
just
be.
not creative to name it.
It has to. You did name it though, because I said.
Oh, that's right, I did, because I wanted Whiskey Sour.
And I was calling it the Sour Gold Shit Maestro Whiskey Sour, and you
Yes.
said, "No, that's boring. It should be the Whiskey Sour Gold Shit Maestro Sour." So that's what we landed on.
Teamwork.
Yeah, I love the name. I love that it plays reverence to Billy Mack.
And I was surprised when you're like, no, I really love that name. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, we'll go with it.
All right, so what are the ingredients of your cocktail so everyone can try to make it at home?
All right, for this cocktail, we will have 2 ounces of Bullet Bourbon, 1 cup of cranberry juice, 1/4 cup of orange juice, 3 teaspoons of lime juice, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of egg white. That's all going to be shaken and poured over ice. And then it's going to be garnished with cranberries, mint, and dusted with cinnamon.
Yes, the cinnamon
Make sure
dust.
it's dusted.
Yeah, don't overload it with cinnamon. We did try to put cinnamon sticks in it, but because of the egg whites, it makes it frothy at top. So they just kind of sink right to the bottom and you don't see them. So you don't need to use cinnamon sticks, but just dust it with the cinnamon on top. It's obviously very Christmas looking with the mint sticking up at the top. Looks like a little Christmas tree.
It does.
Or with the cranberries or mistletoe.
Mistletoe, yeah.
Damn right. You can hand this to a lover and get a big smooch.
There you go. And it's a nice, pretty red color. And the egg whites make it look like snow is laying on top of your drink there.
Yeah, I love the way that this drink came together. I think it is one of the best cocktails we've done.
Good job.
You did do a really good job. And you did it with no help. Wink.
Hey, man, you poured it all, but it was my ingredients.
Yeah, you did come up with all these ingredients yourself. The garnishes yourself. Everything you did come up with yourself.
You did add the mint.
I did just come up with the mixing of it, like how it all gets mixed together. So, and we're both drinking it right now, and it is really delicious and spilled everywhere on the carpet.
That was all you.
That's why we got to get the husky in here to clean it up.
There you go. Make sure he has a good night's sleep.
All right. So now is the time where we really just start dissecting the movie, just going through it and talking about basically our favorite bits. So I absolutely love the way the movie starts. Number one, with Billy Mack recording that.
Well,
that single.
hold on. Before we jump into Billy Mack, what about Hugh Grant's beginning where he's talking? It's so sweet. That's how that movie sucked me in, is right from the very beginning. Just the dialogue in the beginning.
Actually, the reason I'd never wanted to see it, because I had actually seen that. I believe that's part of the trailer too.
Okay.
And I was like, that is so sappy. No, thank you. But it was an interesting time that this came out because it is post 9/11, about probably about 18 months after 9/11 happened. This movie was coming out. So it was interesting that a lot of stuff coming out around the time was, how do I put it, like very reverent and stuff like that. And this wasn't reverent in the fact, it was more of like trying to lift people's spirits.
Right.
And that's what his speech was. And Hugh Grant is the prime minister in the movie, and he's an optimist. He's just and that's his whole character arc, is that he believes in love, he believes in good, and he believes that good will always win. But it's going to be a hard
my favorite
fight.
Story of the 9
is Hugh Grant and his
Natalie. Yep.
And his assistant with tree trunk legs.
Yeah. Sizable ass, that one. Yep.
Yes. So yes, it does start off with this little speech that, as far as he knows, when the planes crashed into the 2 towers, none of the phone calls that came from the planes were ones of hate or villainy. They were those of people reaching out to loved ones and stuff. So he says that love actually is all around, and they're shooting pictures of people coming back from trips and stuff and seeing their loved ones again. So, but then it goes to Billy Mack, my favorite character, and he's recording his
And this
song.
is how you are sucked in.
This is how I was sucked in. If you really love Christmas, come on and let it snow. Oh, fuck, sugar, bug, ass, and or hole. This is shit. Solid gold shit, maestro. It's an absolutely he's a washed up rock star. This is his comeback. This is like a last ditch effort to make some money. Throw out a Christmas single, get the royalties every year.
Use a song he's already written, but just throw in the words Christmas and add that for fourth verse, right?
And this is, I mean, this is what a lot of artists do. They come out with a Christmas album because now when the Christmas song plays around Christmas time, they get a fat royalty check every year. And we saw a show about a boy, that TV show based on a
and that's how
Hugh
he
Grant
was
movie.
always that's how he was always making money because of this Christmas song that he
would
put
get,
out.
He would get $100,000 every Christmas. This is Billy Mack's retirement, and I love that.
Yes,
and I love his irreverence to it all, where everyone's
God.
congratulating him, and he goes, "It's fucking shit."
Yeah.
Wow, thank you for that, Billy. Thank you for your honesty. Ask me anything and I'll tell you the truth. My favorite scene with him has to be when he's doing the TV interview 3 weeks before Christmas.
Okay.
And the pop stars were just on the night before making fun of his old ass. And he writes on their picture, "We've got tiny pricks."
Yes.
And then
Billy, it's a kid's show. Kids are watching.
A lot of kids watching, Billy.
Oh, yeah. Hiya, kids. Here's an important message from your Uncle Bill. Don't buy drugs. Become a pop star and they give you them for free.
And I do believe it's a commercial break.
And Billy Nye is just so fantastic in this role. I love it. And it's so weird when you see him in stark contrast to how he was as Philip in Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
Or as the bad vampire in one of the underworlds and stuff like that.
Oh, that's right.
He plays such a very good, staunch, angry, old British guy.
Yeah.
And then you see him cut loose in something like this. And you're like, God, he's fantastic.
Yes.
He's so good
Love
at
him.
everything he does. All right, let's get it through some of the other stories. We were talking about Hugh Grant a little bit. His inauguration day, he goes to the Prime Minister's home and he's meeting his staff. And Natalie.
He meets Natalie.
Yeah, and
who
she's
just starts cursing with her filthy fucking mouth.
Yes.
And this is Natalie. She's new, like you.
Hello, Natalie.
Hello, David. I mean, sir. Shit, I can't believe I've just said that. And I've gone and said shit. Twice. I'm so sorry, sir.
It's fine. You could have said fuck and then we'd have been in real trouble.
Thank you, sir. I did have an awful premonition I was going to fuck up on my first day. Oh, piss it.
I love that. He's like,
And she's
"Oh,
so
shit.
adorable.
I can't believe I just said shit."
Piss it.
And I think he's immediately smitten with her. He's obviously
Yes.
attracted to her, but then, with her fumbling and stuff like that, he becomes more attracted to her. He meets the president of the United States, who comes for a visit to make sure the relationship is still strong. He burns that bridge with the American president,
and that's because he
played by Billy Bob Thornton.
Right. He walks out of the room to get a file for the president, Billy Bob Thornton, to look at. And Natalie's walking in to serve up fucking tea and biscuits.
Crimpets. Yeah, tea and biscuits.
Biscuit. And so he walks out, he walks back in, and Billy Bob Thornton's already all over this woman. He's whispering in her ear and
He's a
touching
nice
her
mixture
face.
of G.W. Bush and Bill Clinton.
Yes.
He was probably whispering something about getting that dress stained.
Oh, gross. Probably, but gross.
Oh, that's a 1997 political joke right there.
And her, like Monica, she just got all hung up and she's like, oh, God, the president's touching me.
Right. Well, I mean, not this current president, but if Obama wanted to touch you, you probably would have let him.
Wow, God, hell yeah.
Yeah, right. See?
What? Did I say something?
See? See, if it's a liked president, like if JFK, if it was the 1960s and JFK was around, you'd be like,
hell yeah.
Touch me.
Yep.
just touch
Some
me.
of them I'm going to skip out on, but yeah, JFK, Obama.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm okay with that.
You can skip out on Lyndon B. Johnson, Gerald Ford.
Yeah, I don't want any of them.
Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, I think, the
All of
majority.
those.
Yeah.
Majority
I don't
of
want the majority of
It's
them.
very rare. It's very few and far between are the
Or
young
like
hot presidents.
the young, good-looking guys. Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt was a looker back in his day, I hear.
Yeah. God, if only I was how many years younger?
If you were
older, younger at the time.
Only if you were 190 years old. You could have had Teddy Roosevelt's whiskers tickling you down there.
Ew, stop it. It's gross.
I'm going to be your teddy bear.
Ew.
So after seeing Billy Bob Thornton president, whispering in Natalie's ear, he goes and he talks about the abusive relationship between the U.S. and Great Britain.
He got real mad, real jealous.
He's just like, it's not going to be the relationship it used to be. It's not gonna, it's not going to be just take. It's going to be give and take from here on out. Blah blah blah. And Britain loved it.
Oh my God, they were like up in arms about it.
And people like at the time, Tony Blair who was the prime minister at the time when this film was made, was being called in the British press as like a puppet and stuff like that of the United States for getting involved in the Iraqi war, which Great Britain didn't agree with and didn't want to be a part of. And, you know, he commented on it and he goes, we would all love for someone to give that speech because it's a wonderful movie moment. But the fact is, in real life, I have to wake up tomorrow and deal with the consequences of this speech. So I could never, ever do that. What I do is I soldier on and I do what's best for Britain at the time.
Right. And it's funny because in the movie, the prime minister was clearly a puppet to the president.
Yes.
And the president of the United States, he wanted to keep the relationship as it was.
Right. And they never let us in on what this...
On what it is.
What it
exactly,
means.
exactly.
Yeah. It's military support, most likely.
Probably.
So, and then, of course, he eventually... on Christmas Eve, decides to go to Natalie's house.
It's because she gave him a card along with everyone else's. He just happens to open her card of the huge pile of cards he has, and she signs it, "You're Natalie," and he looks at it again, and he's like, "Oh."
And he goes to the dodgy end of town where she lives.
The dodgy end of town, yep. Which is funny because I remember when she first mentioned where she lived, the dodgy end, and we're like, oh, the dodgy end, oh God, what is that, like Camden or something for us?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then we get to the dodgy end.
It's 3-story row home.
Yeah, it's like the nice houses in Philly, like the row homes in Philly. I'm like, oh, that's not dodgy. What do they think is dodgy?
You got it. Well, I mean, let's face it, everyone in this movie, for the most part, is like pretty well off. And even in Red Nose Day, actually, which is like the bullshit sequel to this, Liam Neeson says, "I'm loaded" to his son. So because it's something that I mean, people who have money, it's not like they stand around talking like, how much money you got? I got so much money. But you can tell that they're all well to do. I mean, one of them is the prime minister and the other one is the prime minister's sister. So.
Right. And which she lives in the same neighborhood as Natalie, but obviously not on the dodgy end of it.
No, she lives on the same street. Even in cities in the United States, streets can be 5-6 miles long. So he goes to Natalie's house. They go to the play that everyone's kids are involved in the movie, and then they get caught kissing by the press and everything, and he just smiles and waves. And I do like that story, but my favorite story is Martin Freeman's story.
Oh, okay.
And he has it's because it's the most interesting, and
because they're doing everything that you try to build up to.
So it's the most awkward meet cute to tell your friends about. So Martin Freeman's job is that he is a body double for celebrities, for movie stars.
Brad Pitt at one point.
Right. He said he was standing in for Brad Pitt on 7 Years in Tibet, and it was cold there. So him and his co-star, they basically get naked and do all the fucking scenes. So that the stars don't have to. It's their butt, it's their boobs, it's their body, not the stars. And they're being filmed from the neck down and stuff like that, so you can't tell that it's not the celebrity.
Right.
So they have this incredibly normal, mundane, like any other coworker would have conversation. He's talking about traffic, how traffic was a nightmare coming in, and they're talking about like hazards of the job and stuff like that, all while pantomiming sex. He has his fingers on her boobs, and it's so nice because,
hey John, can you massage her nipples?
Yes, the director wants you to massage her nipples, and it's like, do you mind? But you can tell how courteous he is because before he does it, he blows
on to make sure that they were warm.
Yes, so. And then
he's a gentleman, obviously.
He has. It takes him what seems like several weeks of doing this shoot to get up the courage to ask her on a date.
Right,
and they go on a date
as they were fully clothed.
Right, and all they did.
Oh no, they were naked when he first asked.
When he asked, yeah, they were naked. But then when they go on the date, the date ends at her front door.
Right,
and it's just a kiss.
Yes,
they've already seen each other naked. Their private parts have, while not
already
had sex,
swooshed together,
already smushed together. And and it just ends with a kiss, and he's so excited by just that. And then we find out at the end of the movie that they're going what she called a snog holiday. They're gonna go away and just fuck.
And they got engaged.
Right. So I love it because it's a very small story in the movie.
Right.
But I just love how mundane they are about this very not normal job.
Right.
And it's also very, very cute. And I love Martin Freeman.
Yes.
And it's interesting because when this is shown on TV, his storyline's completely cut out.
Which is understandable.
Because
There's
they're
a
naked
lot of,
the entire time.
For the most part, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I
and
just,
if they're not
I just like
naked, it's a lot of dry humping going on.
a lot of dry humping. So any other stories that you really liked from this movie? Because that's it for me. I'm done with them. No,
well, I liked Jamie's and Aurelia's story, and I know that story is the one you don't really care for.
It's my least favorite.
Right. So this is the story between...
I would say my least, the one I don't like the most is Andrew Lincoln and Keira Knightley's, because that one's fucking creepy.
That's a whole different level of story. But this one with Colin Firth, I know you were saying you don't really care. It's kind of boring. And I'm like, no, well, it's cute because they fell in love with each other without ever having to say a word.
Right.
She
speaks Portuguese.
He's English. So they don't know what they're saying to each other. And it's funny throughout every scene that they're together, they're having the same conversation. They just don't know that they're having the same conversation.
But what sends him on his little Eat, Pray, Love tour to go write this book is that the movie opens with a wedding. He goes to the wedding. His wife claims to be sick, and he goes off to the wedding. He decides to come back on the in-between time between the ceremony and the...
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you should never have an in-between time.
Yeah.
Just get it right then and there.
In between the ceremony and reception, he goes home and he wants to see if his wife's feeling better. Maybe she wants to come to the reception, try to have a little bit of fun.
And the brother,
sees his brother there, who says
picking up some CDs.
So I'm here to borrow some CDs. He goes, oh, this is a great one. Hurry up, big boy. I want you at least twice before my husband comes home.
No, they're not even married.
So he's just
they're not even married at this point, which is not a bad thing.
He just looks at his brother and he just turns and walks out the door. Doesn't say anything.
Before then, he was saying, let's take mom out to lunch for her birthday because we've been terrible sons.
So it's pretty shitty that his last relationship ended because his brother was putting it to his girlfriend. So he decides to get the fuck away from everything and go write another book out in Portugal. And that's when he meets Aurelia, who is his housekeeper. But it is kind of like this weird, like, I don't know how to put it, like falling in love with the help, you know?
Right. I like it.
Well, it turns into a sweet story in the end and stuff like that because he goes and he learns Portuguese and on Christmas Eve flies from Heathrow to Portugal.
I just like when he shows up to his family's house to celebrate Christmas with them. He drops off tons of gifts and he's like looking at all his family, incling brother in the background.
Who fucked
and
his
he's like,
girlfriend. Yeah.
Splendid. It's lovely to see you all. And I used to know. I'm off, actually.
But Jamie, darling.
Sorry. Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Listen.
I hate Uncle Jamie. I hate Uncle Jamie. I hate Uncle Jamie.
I hate Uncle Jamie. I hate Uncle Jamie.
Jamie's the worst. I hate Uncle Jamie.
I'm like, bitch, he dropped off the presents. He could have taken them back.
Right.
Listen, he kept you still have all those awesome presents he got. So shut up.
That's all that matters.
But then it's like, oh, they love their Uncle Jamie so much. And all they wanted to do is see Uncle Jamie. And Uncle Jamie's like, I'm going to go meet up with this chick I met 3 weeks ago and fell in love with.
So he flies there, meets her father and her
sister.
Ugly sister. Just
bigger
ugly.
Sister.
Yeah, very bigger sister. And the whole town marches down to the restaurant.
What I like is when he first came there and he's speaking Portuguese and he's telling Aurelia's father he wants to come there for his daughter to marry her. The bigger sister comes down and was like, I don't know this man. I don't know who he is. And then he's like, it doesn't matter if you don't know him. And she was offended because she's like, Dad, you're just going to sell me to this stranger? And the dad goes, I'm not going to sell you. I'm going to pay this man at this point.
Yes, they are. They do seem awful.
Yes.
And then he goes and poorly speaks Portuguese to Aurelia, and then we find out she's been learning English since he's been away. And
Adorable.
He sweeps her off her feet, takes her away from her disgusting country of Portugal, and takes her back to good old merry old England.
Yeah, where she meets his good-looking friends.
Yes. But I love with the sister. She's like, marry him, because then you can go meet Prince William and then marry him instead.
She could have been Kate Middleton. Can you imagine?
We're missing the story of the caterer.
Colin.
Colin, the waiter, who decides that he has such rotten luck with women, he's going to fly to the United States.
Not rotten luck with any women. It's English women.
Right.
Because they're all cold and
that's what
they're
thinks.
just no fun.
Instead, he decides
not my words. Ladies,
he flies to Wisconsin,
the most American town that you can go to, I guess.
Because American women are looser in his mind.
Did I say town? It's a state, right? Wisconsin. Yep.
So
American state you can go to.
So he goes there to meet women. He's at a bar, the world's saddest, most heavily lit bar.
But very lit bar, right? So no one's getting drugged in that bar.
And he meets 3 women who all love British accents, but they're poor, and they all have to sleep in the same bed.
That's so sad, their story.
And
they have to sleep naked to stay warm.
Because they can't afford pajamas.
Right.
So he has to go back to their house and sleep with all 3 of them, and then a 4th one shows up.
The Harriet, the sexy one.
Shannon Elizabeth is the least sexy of those 3 women. And the women are Eliza Cuthbert, January Jones, some model woman that I don't know, and Shannon Elizabeth.
Right.
So he hits the jackpot, and then he brings Shannon Elizabeth and Carmen Electra back at the end to meet his friend.
He's the most unbelievable story. Like,
yes. This is definitely the fun of it.
Now,
him and Billy Mack. They're
right.
They're more like these unbelievable
Yes.
stories and stuff that are happening. His has the least amount of screen time at all.
Yes.
And obviously for reasons that it has zero heart to it. This kid just wanted to get laid, and he did it.
Right.
He didn't find love. Well, he did for one night, and that's all he needed.
And you said that the actor who played him, he
returned his paycheck for that day
because he was so excited,
because he said that was the most fun he had ever
That's what
had
it was.
at work, and he doesn't feel right getting paid for frolicking around naked
Right.
with 3
I'm
women.
like, my God, were they really naked? Because
Eliza Cuthbert and January Jones at that.
all you see is just the
There was more filmed. There was
Okay.
stuff cut out. Yeah.
Okay.
There was more filmed.
Yeah, because all we saw on the film is they cut back,
Their
and all you
silhouettes.
see is their silhouettes
Right.
in the window, and that's it.
Right. But even at the bar, it's him sitting between these 4 women. So
3 women at the time.
Well, then Harriet walks in, right? So he's just having fun, and
Right.
I would probably return my day's pay too if I got to hang out with Eliza Cuthbert and January Jones. So especially Eliza Cuthbert. I still love her in the ranch.
She's adorable.
She doesn't.
She
look,
is cute.
She doesn't look the same, but she's.
Oh my God, Dave.
It's always been her kind of like her sass that was always more attractive.
Right.
Of course, the cutest story of them is Liam Neeson, whose wife recently just died.
Right.
And he is now the sole caregiver to her 13-year-old son, who is not his son, it's his stepson.
Right.
And
Sam.
In the midst of all this, Sam goes and falls in love.
You really want to know?
I really want to know.
Even though you won't be able to do anything to help.
Even if that's the case, yeah.
Okay. Well, truth is, actually, I'm in love.
Sorry?
I know I should be thinking about Mum all the time, and I am. But the truth is I'm in love. And I was before she died. There's nothing I can do about it.
Aren't you a bit young to be in love?
No?
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it would be something worse.
Worse than the total agony of being in love.
No, you're right. Yeah, total agony.
And he has to coach his stepson in how to get a girl to notice you, not like faking it, but to get himself noticed. So
And not just any girl, but the most popular girl in the school, and the school is apparently everyone's in love with this girl.
Well, she's
Joanna.
American, and
she's
she can
American.
Sing.
Yep.
Yeah. And then she sings Mariah Carey at the end.
Of course. She won my heart over.
And then
that
he
song.
also has a little bit of an unbelievable ending where we're talking 18 months after 9/11. He sneaks into the terminal, goes running to her.
I mean, he's totally banned from that airport from here on out.
He's on a no-fly list for sure. Like, of course, we find out on Red Nose Day that he did fly back.
Right,
to
because
London,
he goes. He's living in New York now.
Right. With Joanna.
With
so
Joanna,
they do end up 13 years later, they do end up together. So he goes and just tells her that he loves her, and then he walks away, and then she comes off the terminal, plants a big kiss on him, and the kid just couldn't be happier.
Within that story, I like that it's bringing Liam Neeson, Sam, I don't know the actor's name who played Sam, but those two characters are being brought together because Sam, his mother just died. He's in love with this girl who doesn't notice him. He locked himself in his bedroom. He's not talking to his stepdad. And why would you want to talk to your stepdad at that point? Because now
need
you're
Leo
alone.
and Kate right now. And
right.
he puts on Titanic.
I just thought it was a cute father-son bonding part, and it brought them two closer
and then
together.
he helps Liam Neeson towards the end say hello to women. Nothing. We don't know of any relationship that occurs from there, but he at least breaks him out of his shell.
Right.
And I do love that. I also love the funeral scene when he's talking about these inside jokes about death.
And no one's laughing. Everyone's like looking at him like,
but it doesn't matter.
I know, because it's between them two.
Exactly. So, but I do love that when he's like, his wife jokingly said he should bring Claudia Schiffer to her funeral, and he said over my dead body, and she says, "No, Daniel, over mine."
And I'm sorry, my English accent and any accent I ever try is terrible, so I apologize.
They all sound. Did they all sound Jamaican? Slab of the bass, slab of the bass, man. Slab of the bass, slab of the bass, man.
But yeah, you mentioned him and Emma Thompson because the only one who had a chuckle at the funeral was Emma Thompson,
who's his best friend, and obviously probably knew them both pretty well. And then we do find out that Emma Thompson's husband, played by Alan Rickman.
I love Alan Rickman, I do. God damn it.
Ho. Now I have a machine gun. Professor Snape.
Oh, stop it.
He's some boss at some place where Laura Linney also works. And
yes.
He has how do we put it? A very aggressively sexual personal assistant.
Mia, yeah.
Who pretty much tells him it's a buffet. Everything's open to you.
I mean, she opened her legs in the office.
I just want you to give me something nice. So that's where the story where Emma Thompson and her husband, and Alan Rickman, where he goes and buys a necklace for the slutty secretary.
Right.
And then Emma Thompson finds it, can't wait to get it on Christmas Day.
Well, before we get that far, Alan Rickman, the first time he goes to buy that necklace, he meets Rufus at the jewelry counter, who is played by Rowan Atkinson.
That's not his name. His name's Mr. Bean.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
His name's Mr. Bean. That's who he is. Rowan Atkinson isn't a real. That's a fallacy. Mr. Bean is all he is.
Mr. Bean, played by Mr. Bean.
There you go.
And who wraps this necklace in the most unrealistic way of wrapping a necklace. It's so complex, but he's trying to make it beautiful.
It's my least favorite part of the movie. I absolutely
Oh my God, really? I thought it was so funny.
I hate it.
I thought it was funny because you're like, okay, he's done. No. Just a sprinkle and glitter. And
he's putting baby's breath in it.
Yeah.
He's putting like little rose petals in it. He's throwing glitter and shit in.
Oh my gosh.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
And then the bag is finally sealed. Almost done. We got to get the box.
And then he puts on white gloves at one point to get the box out and everything. Yeah, I hate that part. So
oh my gosh, it's so funny.
So Emma Thompson finds the necklace and is expecting
How heartbroken were you during this scene?
I was. I feel for Emma Thompson a lot.
So he buys the necklace and you're like, oh my God, it's for Mia. But then it's like, maybe he turns over. Maybe, it turns and he buys it for her, his wife, and everything works out and blah, blah, blah. And then what is it? Christmas Eve, right before the kids play at school. She
opens her present.
She's so excited because she wants to open her present. So she chooses the present that's shaped like a friggin' jewelry box.
And it's a Joni Mitchell CD.
It's a Joni Mitchell. Oh my gosh.
Right. And she immediately knows right then and there that he's cheating. So This is one of the most debated stories in the entire movie for people who watch it. So a lot of people think that Alan Rickman just bought the necklace. He was being stupid and, he never went through with anything. But
well, because wife found out about it.
Right. But the director and Emma Thompson have both said, no, the whole point that Mia, the slutty secretary, gets the necklace is because they slept together. He had to have slept with her to give her
more
to necklace. So he did 100% cheat on her. It wasn't. And
you know what? Even if he didn't sleep with her, he still cheated on her.
Right. Oh, yeah.
He went out.
Emotionally.
He purchased the necklace for another woman.
Right. Yeah.
My God.
It was an ugly necklace anyway.
It was 2003. We got to remember this.
It's fucking hideous. But yeah, and then the saddest part of it is that because they have kids and they're both mature adults and everything like that, Emma Thompson doesn't end the relationship. She does have that great moment after the children's play when she says, like, what would you do?
Right.
And he's like, oh, I've made a fool of myself, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, you made a fool of me.
Right.
And then it's heartbreaking at the end when he comes back from whatever trip he was on and it's just a peck on the cheek. How are you? And she's like, I'm getting better.
And then her face at the end.
It's just
that last scene with her. She's just so miserable.
So
she's like, well, this is my life.
In
now.
the interview that I'm talking about with Emma Thompson, she basically said, I know everyone would like to think that it gets better for them and stuff like that.
But no.
It doesn't. No, the relationship was always broken from that point on. And they stayed together for the kids. And it's like,
right.
So love actually is all around, but not in that story.
Right. It's so sad.
It's kind of lost in that story. And that one is the saddest one.
Right.
But she does, get to make that awesome lobster costume for her daughter.
One of the lobster costumes.
I love that.
We've been given our parts in the nativity play. And I'm the lobster.
The lobster?
Yeah.
In the nativity play?
Yeah, first lobster.
There was more than one lobster present at the birth of Jesus.
Duh.
Because as they mentioned, they mixed all the area schools together for the play. So obviously there's only so many sheep, cows, and horses that you can do. 3 wise men, Mary, Joseph, baby, got it done to fit all the kids in. There's a fucking whale up there. There's 3 lobsters. There is
the wise man who is Spider-Man. Spider-Man, wise man. It's amazing. They included all kinds in this play.
And then the prime minister gets caught at that play.
Right.
Making out with Natalie on stage.
Right. But another sad story that I have told you about, which I just find it's pathetic and sad, is Laura Linney's story, because she is just...
I think it's the last one that we haven't talked about.
No, we still didn't talk about Andrew Lincoln yet. We didn't go into details with that. We will. Don't you worry.
Well, Laura Linney's I'm not spending a lot of time on because it's honestly, she's in love with a guy at work. She goes on dates. She has a mentally ill brother who lives in a mental institution there. He calls her all the time with crazy crackpot theories that the Pope is trying to take over the world and stuff like that. She has to leave mid getting dirty for sex, getting ready for sex.
And she chooses to leave him.
Right. She leaves and goes and
see her brother, spends
the night with her brother.
It's sad.
Who then tries to backhand her. And she catches his backhand like a fucking boss.
I think it's sad because now her life is her brother. That's just what it is. That's terrible.
The life she chooses, though.
But he's in an institute. He has, doctors and nurses who can take care of him. Yeah. Don't forget about the guy, but God, shut off your phone when you're about to have sex with the guy you're supposedly in love with.
He called the landline. But yes, that story. But I love the story about how Laura Linney was cast because the casting director kept saying he wanted someone like Laura Linney, and he was doing casting calls with all these British actresses.
To make it,
and he kept saying he wants someone like Laura Linney, and the director of the film went, "Fuck it, why don't you get Laura Linney?" So they had to rewrite the role to make her American living in London.
Right. And the reason why they're in London is because of the treatment.
Because of the treatment for her brother.
For her brother, exactly.
And then finally, yes, Andrew Lincoln. Coral! I once knew a girl named Juliet Coral. I wrote her a bunch of things on a card and I held them up. I knew what she was going to say before she said it, Coral.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, but it's also a little creepy. So the film, one of the earlier scenes in the film is Chiwetel Ejiofor and Keira Knightley's wedding, which is really weird. Chiwetel Ejiofor in his like early 40s, Keira Knightley while filming this movie, 18 years old. She was only 5 years older than the little boy who
plays Sam.
So she's getting married, and he sets up this elaborate like musical number,
and it's cute because you're like, oh my god, Andrew Lincoln is his best friend, and he's setting this whole big thing up for his best friend to make sure his best friend has this amazing wedding to remember. And then
he was making sure she had an amazing
wedding. He did it all for her
because he's in love with her, and she eventually figures it out when he was doing the videotaping for their wedding.
Right, because
she needs a copy of it.
The people that she paid to do her video, it turned out blue and wavy,
which apparently happens a lot. That's why you should contact Mark Dickerson. You can check him out at markdickerson.com. He films weddings too. Book him now. Southeastern Pennsylvania. Anyway, so she goes to find him. She goes to get a copy of his video. She sees it, and it's basically all close-ups of her.
Right.
Very long shots of her.
And like you pointed out in the in that scene, there's a copy of Rear Window.
There's a copy of Rear Window right there, which is a movie of a cautionary tale of voyeurism.
Right.
And here he is being voyeuristic towards his best friend's wife the entire time. And I do like the way that he kind of wraps it up. He doesn't try to like get with her in any way.
Right.
He's very accepting of his role and everything like that. He just shows up and plays Christmas music, tells her to tell Chiwetel Ejiofor that it's colorism. And he just holds up signs. They're cute. They're funny. And, he's just basically wishing her a good life and stuff like that. And if she ever needs him or if there's ever an opportunity, he's there, but he's not going to push it.
If your best friend came out and was like, holding cards.
Chiwetel Ejiofor doesn't know about it.
I know, but if that happened with us, first off, Jay couldn't come back to this house.
No, Jay is not showing up to
Second off,
flashcards.
I'm going to kick him in his balls. Like, the fuck is wrong with you?
You're not Jay's type.
Jay isn't my type, okay? Let's get that correct here. God, what a dick.
You have a mind and you're over 30. You can't be his type.
God.
So, all right, are we done? Is that all the stories? Which one is your favorite again?
It's a Hugh Grant story and Prime Minister David and Natalie.
All right, perfect. Mine, like I said, is
Billy Mack.
Well, Billy Mack's my favorite character, but my favorite story is Martin Freeman's.
Oh,
so
okay, right.
I love that story. So that's it. Those are all the stories, and I mean, this honestly is one of my favorite Christmas movies, which is tough because I don't like we said in the beginning, I don't like Christmas movies, and this one isn't so much a Christmas movie, but Christmas is a big part of it, especially since on the screen it starts
and it's leading up to Christmas.
5 weeks to Christmas, 3 weeks to Christmas, 2 weeks to Christmas, 1 week to Christmas, Christmas Eve. So I mean, Christmas is a central part of the story, which is why it didn't make our top 5 Christmas adjacent movies, because it is a Christmas movie. But this, Christmas Vacation, Elf, and like Home Alone, that's it. That's as deep into Christmas as I get, and I only watch each of them once. So next year I'll probably have to do Christmas Vacation Cocktail. I'll have to find a way to do that.
I'll be there for that one.
So, but it truly is like one of my favorite like ensemble cast movies, and right around this time there's a lot of these type of movies coming out, but they all the ensemble cast and storylines mixing over and stuff like that. But this one just does it so well. And one of the interesting things is that this was originally conceived as several movies that were all going to kind of intertwine like a movie universe before the MCU was doing it. Richard Curtis, the director, was going to have a movie universe with Hugh Grant and Colin Firth. But while in production for the story that eventually went on to be Colin Firth's story and the story that was Hugh Grant's story, he had 2 movies in production at the same time. And he was looking at both the scripts and was like, these are extremely similar in beat and everything like that. And he's like, I don't want to be that guy who makes all these movies.
The same movie, just with a different face.
Right. And he would have went on to make more movies that would have existed in this universe and stuff like that. And instead, what he decided to do was all the story ideas that he had and all the potential scripts for future movies that he was going to do, mix them all into one 2-hour and 11-minute movie. And 2 hours and 11 minutes isn't all that long when you're following 9 different stories.
Right.
That really equals out to 20 to 25 minutes, like, per story, if that. So it's not that bad. So and I'm not a sappy guy, but I do love this movie because it finds ways to mix in some really pleasant humor in with a lot of the sappy romantic stuff. And I just really I love that. Not that I hate romance. It's just in movies I find it I think it gives everyone a warped perception of what love is.
Oh my God. Yes.
I hate that. But I like it here because it's not a warped perception of what love is. We're seeing love in a lot of different forms here. Love between a brother and a sister. Love between a father and a son. Love between, new lovers, old lovers, and love coming to an end. So I love that. And I think it is just one of the best holiday movies. And I'm happy that it's our tradition to watch it. And I'm happy that you finally got to do your movie cocktail for Love Actually.
I just 100% agree with you. It's my favorite movie. I watch it multiple times.
Not your favorite movie.
Holiday movie. Sorry, my favorite holiday movie.
What's your favorite movie, Lauren?
10 Things I Hate About You.
We'll have to do a movie cocktail for it someday.
Yes, we will. That one might be a little tough. It's a movie about teenagers.
So, what's wrong with that?
Teenagers aren't supposed to be drinking? Jesus.
She dances while drunk to Notorious B.I.G. on a table,
but
smashes her head, gets a concussion.
She's a teenager. Shouldn't be doing that.
Well, maybe
we can do a virgin cocktail for it.
No, we'll just put sleeping pills in it so we can go out like Heath Ledger.
Oh, that's terrible.
Good night, everybody.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. I'm awful. I know.
You really are. Oh my God. You forget about Alan Rickman and then you said that?
They didn't forget about Alan Rickman.
You forgot about him.
He's just been gone for so long. He's out of the zeitgeist.
So long. 2016, David. Jesus Christ.
Well, we've lost so many other people between now and then. Okay? It's hard to keep track on who's dead and who's alive anymore.
Oh my God.
But at least we got Bowie.
Always.
Now Bowie's dead, man. Damn it! So that's going to do it for me and Lauren tonight.
David's awful.
I want to thank all you guys for listening. Definitely.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
It's on Netflix. Definitely make sure that you check out Love Actually if you haven't already, or if it's been a long time since you've given it a watch, definitely give it a watch now. Make sure that you go over to Twitter and check out the cocktail. I will be posting it along with this episode. I'll pin it to the profile there so you can check out the what the cocktail looks like and all the ingredients so you can attempt to make it at home. It's not that hard to make. It's not terribly expensive to make either. So we like to keep it cheap, and it's got a lot of booze in it. So it'll help you get through that holiday party with your family that you may be dreading. We do have a sponsor. Sponsor's Blowfish. So if you do enjoy the cocktail just a little bit too much, you can head over to forhangovers.com. That's FOR hangovers.com. Use the promo code SMBFish to get 15% off of your order. Make sure you check out all the other great shows that are part of the Podfix Network. Head over to podfixnetwork.com. And you can check out that, as well as all of our movie cocktail recipes from the past couple of months that we have up there. And we should be coming back to Movie Cocktail in 2019. We will have another full season, one every month for the entire year. So that's going to do it, guys. I want to thank everybody for listening and joining us for the holidays. Have a great night. Cheers.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's.
About the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. Just one
Oh fuck, wank, bugger, shitting, ass, head and hole.